The Pan-Global Colonization Initiative invites you to be one of the first to set foot on a new planet, to begin your new life on the first of many off-world settlements. Our world, as any school child knows, is dying, fatally polluted and all but exhausted of its natural resources. But there is a whole new world, a world we can treat better. Welcome to Epsilon Eridani B. Almost all but forgotten are the vibrant colors of nature, which we've lost here on Earth. But on Epsilon Eridani B, nature thrives and awaits your adventures. Employment for everyone, from agriculture to mail, interstellar communication to hairdressing. Every successful applicant will have a job, and your children will benefit from the very best education. The Tantalus II will transport you across the galaxy, traveling at just under the speed of light. Safely on board, you will sleep away the entire 10-year journey comfortably in state-of-the-art cryo-sleep chambers, leaving you fresh and revitalized for your new life ahead. So why wait? Get your application and donation in now to secure a place among the first 200 candidates. If you're unsuccessful, don't worry. PGCI will keep your application for the next transport ship. Pan-Global Colonization Initiative, taking you to a better world.
Offworld is a science fiction film that we're all going to try and make. Myself and a load of friends have got together to try and make a film that's going to look as good as possible despite having a low budget. But it's a sci-fi film that tells a tale about a crashed colonization mission where the people have to survive and walk a couple of hundred miles and obviously put up with a load of things and get through a load of problems in order to get to the destination. The film came about when I've been trying to make ideas for films for a long time, and so has my co-producer Adam, and basically we got together and started thinking about what sort of film could we make, and we're both into sci-fi and fantasy, of course, and because of low budget, it's the opposite of having a big budget. If you had a big budget, you just write the film and then you shoot it, and you get everything to fit what you can afford. But this is the other way around kind of thing. We basically look at what we can have, what locations we've got, what people are available, and then you try and make a film around that. So that's what we've done, and that's how it came about, and we're well into production now. The film is funded, it's going to be funded by a crowdfunding campaign, which is basically how a lot of independent short films are made. We're going to fund it in other ways as well. We're going to have appearances at events and conventions, everything from raffles to donations, etc. But hopefully the money that we raise will make the production a bit easier for everyone, with travelling expenses, food, and to a certain extent then the more we raise, the better effects we can have, the better costumes we can have, and things like that. Offworld is inspired by, for me, older sci-fi films. They're more character pieces. Older films like Dark Star, Planet of the Apes, it's more kind of like it's the human journey. Even the original Star Trek series was more about people than space itself. I know that sounds like it isn't true, but it is essentially the human story. So it's inspired by things where people go out there and explore, but then problems get in the way, and it's not just problems with being in space or aliens or anything like that. It's problems that people have anyway, social problems and fights and arguments and that kind of thing. So it's inspired by a lot of old school sci-fi for me, but hopefully it'll bring a new angle to it, really. At this stage we're quite early on into the production, but I'm surprised at how much we've done already. We've actually cast the entire film. We've got some costumes coming in, that are being ordered. We've got props being made. We've got a great friend of mine who's 3D printing some pistols for use in the film. There are 2 small guns used, so they'll be 3D printed. I've also got in contact with a friend of mine I used to work with over 20 odd years ago, and he's a award-winning scale modeler who's going to be building a miniature of the spaceship. But on the other hand, we've also got new technology, so I've got CGI animators and artists who are building the ship in CG, and it's still in progress, but every time somebody sees something new or a new version of the ship with extra detail on it, it just gets better and better, so that's going to be great. The basic story of Offworld is that it's set 100 years into the future, and the Earth is finally withering and dying from pollution and everything else. So the world's governments have got together and said we have to colonize another planet, and they found a planet called Epsilon Eridani b, which is 10.5 light years away. As a side note, this planet does actually exist, so we tried to pick a planet that, rather than making one up. So basically this ship is one of the first to go over there to take frozen people in cryogenic stasis to the new planet to start populating the settlements which are being set up there. Unfortunately, there are a number of mistakes and errors made, which leads to the ship crashing on this planet too far away from the base, with a loss of many lives. All the people who are in cryogenics are still safe, but they're in a disabled ship, and they're not going to last very long unless somebody retrieves them soon. So we follow 10 people in the main crew who have got to find their way to the base and deal with all sorts of problems on the way, and hopefully not starve, not run out of food and water, and not kill each other with the arguments and everything else that happens.